I want to pull up a quote from your book, and this is from a media member from Houston, who said Olajuwon is a 7 foot modern day Goliath who swats basketballs away like he would flies in his native Lagos, Nigeria. Um, can you touch upon just what the media's portrayal of Olajuwon was, and then just playing in Houston, playing in the Deep South at the time, especially for a man like Hakeem Olajuwon, comes from Africa. What was that like for him?
Yeah, I mean that was one of the most egregious examples I saw in the archives of just flat out racism. A lot of people were very ignorant about Africa just in general, let alone Nigeria. And so, it really frustrated him that people had no idea that he came from, a big city. He spoke English. Everyone spoke English. People treated him like an outsider. They always asked if he was, quote, from the jungle. He even penned one article in the student newspaper about how people think he's, quote, dumb or doesn't know what's going on. There was a lot of racism. At the same time, there were some media members that really did treat him with decency and respect. And one of them is a pioneering Black journalist, Ralph Cooper, who is just such an awesome interview. And he had been to Africa. So the two of them had quite a great bond. But for the most part, it was just a lot of questions that were uneducated, ignorant. I think people were trying to be very clever. They thought they were clever, but it was just racist in the writing. They would try to do alliteration and rhyme and make all these metaphors. But it's really sad, and it was important for me to touch on this part because I think his time again at Houston, while it was amazing and those teams were incredible and Phi Slama Jama was unstoppable and great, and he had the time of his life and met some of his best friends. There was this element of ignorance and racism that he did face, and I thought it was really important to show that side, this sort of unmythologized version of his story.
How much do you think that affected Hakeem?
I think it bothered him for sure. I mean, in that article, I mentioned that he wrote for the student newspaper. He mentioned that it frustrated him, and he talked about in various stories for Sports Illustrated at the time that it really just bothered him how people didn't get it, and a lot of his teammates spoke to me about how he was shocked at how ignorant people were in America. Just very shocked at first at how little they knew about Africa. So I think that was really hard. There was no culture shock in terms of like adjusting to America. The only shock was just that people knew so little about where he came from.